Hello, Stowe Middle School Trumpets. We're going to put together some videos looking at the jazz charts that that you guys have been given. We'd already done a lot of work with Mercy, Mercy, Mercy. That one was sounding really solid before we left off with all this craziness. So we're going to start today with April in Paris. A little bit trickier, a little more going on. In this video, I'm going to play the first trumpet part along with the recording, and then at the end, I'm going to break down that sort of tricky soli section in the piece that's about right down at the bottom of the first page. In a different video, I'm going to play through the second, third, and fourth trumpet parts, so that's going to be in a separate one if you're on one of those parts. The biggest thing with this piece is going to be paying close attention to the articulation and the dynamics throughout. So remember, articulation, that's if we're using a harder tongue sound or a softer tongue, or if we're slurring things. And then just paying close attention when it says, when we have the crescendos and diminuendos, abrupt changes, like at the beginning, we go from forte to a mezzo forte right back to back. So looking out for things like that. And then when we get to that soli section, I'll talk a little bit more about it at the end of this video, but there are some tricky little fingering things, so be ready for that when we get there. So first things first, I'm going to play through April in Paris. This is the first trumpet part, and I'll play along with the recording. Here we go. A nice long stretch of rest here. Make sure we're counting our measures, but also really important for a trumpet section, I'll practice looking cool in the background. Here's 25. $33. Back to 65. All right, so that was the first trumpet part for April in Paris. Now let's take a look at this solo or soli section here, starting in the pickup to measure 41. Little familiar melody there to start out with. And then we've got, what I noticed right off the bat is all these accidentals throughout there. We've got a lot of flats. Starts out with a D flat, which is going to be all three valves. Goes up to a G flat, which is going to be the second valve. We have an A flat up there, all the way up to D flat, first and second valve. Then the second thing I noticed are all these articulations. In 41, we've got that little dot, which is a staccato, separate, short, and then followed immediately by the line, which is a more legato tonguing. Do 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 do. And what we're going to want to do, in addition to making those legatos a little bit longer, we're also going to want to emphasize them a little bit, put just a little bit more force there to help really get that swing feel. So what I want to do is play through this a little down tempo so we can work on some of those trickier fingerings. And then also, one other thing we want to talk about for articulations. At 48, and then again in 49, there's another one in 54, we have the marcato accent. And so that's going to be a really firm and short accent, so kind of like the combination of an accent and a staccato. So be ready for that. And then in 44 through 46, those notes have the little squiggly line coming down them. That's called a fall. And what we're going to do for that fall is first we're going to hit the note. So we have to make sure we hit the pitch first. And then we're going to take our fingers and we're going to half valve and give a little squiggly and just let our air and our lips bring it all the way down. We don't have to land on a specific pitch, but we do have to start on a specific pitch. So let me just play those measures so we can see what that sounds like and looks like. I'm going to sort of turn to the side so you can see what our fingers are going to do. Okay, so you can see after we hit the note, then all the valves go to about a half, and we do the rest with our lips. And we want this sort of sound, it's going to be bow. So we just fall down to nothing in particular. All right, so I'm going to play through this now a little under tempo so we can think about how it's going to sound. And just a great way to practice these trickier fingering things is always to slow things down. So here we go, a little slow. 1, 2, 3. So pretty cool jazzy little solo thing there. And then one other thing that we want to make sure that we're doing, and especially this happens a lot in those first few measures right at 41. Remember, the accidental is going to carry through the measure. So all of those G flats will remain G flats through that whole measure. But when we get to 42, they shift back to naturals. And they remind us of that in there. It's put in, but just something to be aware of. All right, I'm going to play it through it a little bit quicker, so not quite up to tempo, just so we can get another speed to practice it. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Take another pass of that. 2, 3. So that is the first trumpet part and that little soli breakdown to practice along with. There's going to be another video with the second, third, and fourth parts, and then also similar videos looking at mercy, mercy, mercy. So be ready for all of those. Hope you're all staying safe and staying healthy and staying as sane as you can. And I look forward to seeing you all soon.